We have Dr. D.GILES, a lead analyst from bioinformatics in with us on the last day session of FPP. Sir is on the topic, the art of writing good research proposal. Now I request Dr. A.R. Magesh, HOD of Quality Assurance, to introduce our today's guest speaker. Thank you. Now over to Magesh.
Good morning, one and all. I am very happy to introduce our Dr. D.GILES. Dr. Giles is working as a lead analyst bioinformatics from Indigene, Bengaluru. He did his M.Pharmacy in the year 2003 and he has been postdoctorate in the PhD in the year 2012. Dr. worked as a principal at Acharya and B.M. Reddy College of Pharmacy, Bengaluru on various positions and roles. Sir is having more than 17 years of experience in teaching and research. Sir has guided 32 research projects for various masters and PhD students. Dr. Giles has received around rupees 1 crores from various funding agencies for his research projects. The author and co-author for 27 PubMed Index publications with 2 patents to his credit. Sir is the editorial board member and peer reviewer for several national and international journals. And Dr. Giles' major proficiencies are application of analytics in design and synthesis of anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer agents. Now, I request our today's speaker, Dr. Giles, to start the session on the art of writing good research proposal.
So good morning, everyone, principals, faculty of various institutions. I thank our principal who has given me an opportunity to talk to all the faculties and principals who are registered for this FTP program. So today's topic is the art of writing research proposal. In this particular lecture, you will be learning about, or you will be describing the purpose of writing research proposal and the components of research proposal, and finally you will have a constructive idea on making an effective research proposal. So before starting, what is research proposal? So research proposal is a written plan which mainly communicate ideas about a study which seeks fund from any funding agencies, or it will address the problem which you feel that you want to investigate. Research can be anything. Like for example, now presently you have the COVID situation. So because of COVID situation, if you see last 5-6 months, there is huge research being carried out against COVID, mainly in terms of drug discovery, drug repurposing, treatment, treating AIDS, everything. So there is a huge scope for the research also. Now, if you see the funding agencies, generally the funding agencies are mainly 3 we can categorize. One is government, private foundation, or business and industry. These are the main 3 funding agencies which fund the research proposals. Now, before starting a research grant or research proposal, what you have to think, certain questions you should put in with you. Number 1, obtaining a grant, does it aid your career? Does it help me to push up my career? That is very, very important. Not only that, do you have time to allocate for the requirements, what you think to achieve the goal of research, which is very, very important. Now, if you see, before 6 months, or before 2 months, how the teaching will be, we will expect the student to talk, we will expect the student to discuss with us, and by seeing the expression, we will be continue the classes. But when the teaching methodology has changed in terms of online classes, it is a different scenario how it changes. So maybe for me also today, the class or whatever the discussion is happening, it is in a different way. I could not able to see the people's faces, and I have to talk on my own, and I have to just present myself in a different thing. If you have any questions, definitely we can just discuss after the last part of the session. Okay. So continuing to the research, do you have time to allocate for the requirements? Because people will tell in teaching, learning itself, I am completing my time. Morning 9 to 5 is completely packed. Then where is the time for allocating for research? So you should have a mindset of taking saying that as per ACT norms or UGC, whatever it is, every faculty is expected to contribute in terms of research, teaching, and administration. But the percentage of work allotted in terms of the designation, it is different. That's it. But the time allocated is different. Only they have to spend some time in research if some must. And the time when you understand saying that yes, research is very important, really the future will be very, very good, and it will be helping every faculties too. When you write a research proposal or when you think on a research proposal, first you go through that particular research proposal which is being called. When you see that, just see whether that particular criterias are being met. Do you meet all the criterias, which is very, very important? Is it feasible to finish that particular application within that deadline, whatever it is given? Because 5 days before you see that particular application, and if you start preparing in 5 days of the research proposal, which may not be a successful research proposal, after submitting, you'll think saying that, okay, I got rejected, and you will feel bad about it. So my suggestion is it feasible to finish the application prior to the deadline? And if you are good enough with that particular area completely, then definitely you may be submitting that particular research proposal. And is there any necessary output? Is that achievable for the aim or objectives, whatever you want to get it through that particular grant? And because the thing is, first you have to satisfy yourself. If you satisfy yourself, then definitely there will be possibility that you can go ahead with that. So before starting a research proposal, so I would suggest just do a preliminary research about a funding agency, which is very, very, very important, because your area of research may not suit to that particular funding agency. That means to say the time whatever you have prepared for that particular application will be lost if it get rejected. So better first thing is you prepare your complete, you prepare your research itself on this funding agency. Yes, this funding agency is accepting on this particular research proposal, and this particular projects are being sanctioned, and these are the particular institute got it. These are the particular works which are published through this particular funding agencies. And when we do that, this will help us to preliminary have an idea about the success stories, what was achieved before. And the next thing what you have to do is read that particular instructions carefully. I just still remember when I was working at the previous institute, my principal used to read only the application for several times, line by line, line by line. It is, I didn't understand when I am a lecturer, then later I understand, yes, because one line will have a lot of value in it for in terms of acceptance or rejection purpose. So you need to read the instruction line by line and understand what that particular instruction tells. At the same time, you have an understanding or know the assessment criteria, which is also very, very important, because if you know the assessment criteria little bit in advance, you can just push it forward that particular points, and it will be easy to get the research grant. Treat the application like an argument and present it with confidence. It's like an exam. I just think it's like an exam. When a student writes an exam test paper, and some teacher will evaluate, because the student for that particular question will be writing the answers for it, expecting saying that I will get full marks. The same thing in terms of research for the topic what you have given or the title what you have given, and that should be related to the call what is being called. If all matches, then definitely, and if the research idea is good, definitely getting funds is an easy task. Treat that application as an argument and present it with confidence. That is very, very important. And use concepts and methods which are newly related or interrelated, which will project towards that particular uh, topic. Now, the next thing is the purpose of the proposal. See, when you have a proposal, first you should feel that it is worthwhile when doing a project. A project, maybe generally what happens in general institutions, principals will tell, yes, please write the proposal. The time when we have the inner confidence of saying, yes, I should write it and I should prepare myself to get a particular project, definitely that will help to put a lot of effort into that particular research proposal. At the same time, it will give a lot of competence also, the time when you get it and complete it. It will also enable to link with the other people who are working in and around that particular area. Don't think saying that, okay, I'm from a chemistry, pharmaceutical chemistry or pharmaceutics background. So I should not only stick to that particular area. So what is that interdisciplinary research is of? How I can involve that particular area, that particular other concepts into my research and try to push it forward. That is also very, very important. And remember only one thing, it will provide new opportunities for stepping stone research. When you plan a research, first you should have some hypothesis. Because already the hypothesis, if it is tested, it is not necessary that that particular hypothesis will be funded. So first you should have a hypothesis. So for that, you should have a detailed understanding of that particular topic. Now, when I tell a detailed understanding of that particular topic, each person will have some interest on some area. If you are a pharmaceutics faculty, you will have some idea or you will have some area on particular type of formulation. Now, if we have idea on this, just go through each and every data related to that particular area and trying to integrate some hypothesis which help to maybe in terms of releasing the formulation best or in maybe in terms of drug discovery, because since I'm a chemistry person, I may give some examples mainly on drug discovery. So does that particular modification help me to get a good product? So that type of hypothesis needs to be generated, and after generating that hypothesis, you have to check, is that particular hypothesis original? Because if somebody has already done on it, it may not have any implications on that particular topic. So it is always better to have a clear, neat idea on that particular research content. The hypothesis is very, very important. Next, is that work original? A detailed search is a must. Now, being a researcher, if you are a researcher in the initial stages, always you have a short-term goals and long-term goals. Always do not try to put every goals, altogether goals, whatever you have, don't try to put it in only one research proposal. Because there are certain goals which cannot be accomplished within 3 years of the funding or 5 years of the funding, whatever is being called for in the research proposal. It is always better to have, as a faculty, a long-term goal. Okay, at 10 years, I expect myself to be in this particular stage of the drug discovery. So in that case, I have to do all this technology, whatever is required. Because I don't know what will be the future technology. If you see, before 10 years, analytics was there, but it is not a big boom. If you see now, you see everywhere analytics, 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 because it is changing the research and in a different way. It is helping the research in a different way. So when you have a long-term goal, just split up as, okay, this is 3 years. This particular project can be applied with. If I do some modifications in this, definitely there is a possibility of getting my molecule binding to a particular target in terms of the drug discovery. So you can just do for a search and you should have some supporting evidence to it, and then you can present it to a funding agency. And it is also a preliminary work that which I will be discussing it later. And if you have a aim, short-term aim, but what are the methodologies which you are going to help that particular research to move forward? It is also very important. What is the method which you are following? That is also very important, because there are loops in the methods also which may not be which may not create a success in that. So it is necessary to read the methodology properly and understand the concept in that particular methodology, and that particular concept, how does that concept help me to move my research forward. That particular strategy is very important in terms of early career of the research. The time when you are around 5-10 years of experience in the research, definitely you know which is good, what bad on that, or which will be successful. On that basis, definitely it will be easy to push you forward. Now, the next thing is generally being a reputation as a principal investigator. It is very important as well. This cannot be achieved by having good publications, win good impact factor journals. I hope some of the faculties who have talked already, they have told about the impact factor publications, which is very important. Yes, at the same time, it will help you get an opportunity to meet the scientists nearby, maybe from a different discipline. If you discuss with them, and when they share some ideas, you can also share some ideas which will help you to have a collaborative research in a higher extent. Generally, when we go for a conference, maybe some people will think that why I should talk to that person, what I will get. If you talk, discuss, really I'm telling the concepts, when you discuss with them, they will come and tell, can we write a research proposal together? Is it possible? I'm a chemistry person. If I see a biologist or who is working mainly in the cell related part, he will just come up with the telling saying that, can you help me in giving some molecules or modification of this. So if he just asks, then you should shoot so many questions. Sir, can it be like this? Can this be like this? We can do like this. So when you suggest several things, definitely they will get interested in you, and it will help you to grow further. So that actually is a reputation of the principal investigator. It will just create an impression, good impression with it. Another next thing, very important thing. Do you have enough qualification, unique qualifications to let you work for that funding agency? Because what happens? Some funding agencies will ask PhD as a mandatory. Maybe thing as a faculty, I do not have PhD. It's not necessary that you should stop the research. You should stop. Okay, I have all things, whatever requirements for that research call, I have that thing. But only one thing, I do not have a PhD. So don't worry about that. So in that case, talk to any of the senior faculty. Share your ideas. You can be a co-principal investigator. Work with them. Push your idea forward. Share it. So definitely with that case, you will also be working for that particular research. It's very important. Generally, we will think like that. No, this call PhD is not there. Okay, let me not write it. That should not be there. If you have an inner interest of pushing yourself to research, definitely you will be doing it. You will find ways to push it through. If you think saying that, okay, I will take that as an excuse for not doing it, you will have a lot of excuses for not doing it. Because it happened for me also. It does not mean that I am also an excuse. Then when I being a lecturer, I will give some excuses. When I'm an assistant professor, when my HOD asks, I will give some excuses. When I am principal, I understand and I will talk differently when I talk to my colleagues. So in different level as working as in organization. Now, the next point is how much is the approximate cost of the project? And does that particular cost is being supported by that funding agency? Because sometimes what happens, you will have project worth rupees 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs. But at the same time, the funding agencies will support only 10 lakhs. And if you make 50 lakhs for the particular project, the agency may think saying that may not be, you are expecting so much, which is not in that particular thing, then you will not have any you cannot go and argue with that particular time because the expectation. So that is what the reason cost approximation is very, very important and justification of that particular cost. Now, next, I can have a lot of thinking. Do I have the facilities for carrying out the proposal? I told already, it is not the thing saying that facilities is the only one thing we should put. Yes, if being a chemistry faculty, I will tell, so no, sir, I need a NMR, I need mask, then only I can do the right the research proposal. No, I can just approach neighboring institutes where the NMR is there or mass spectra is available, but still I can perform. Now, if I see some sophisticated instruments, no, sir, I want to add up this particular part. Yes, you can add up. You can just give it outside, carry out that particular test, and that can also be a part of the claim, whatever you have requested for the fund. So, which will help you to push yourself in research. It is not necessary that every facility should be there and 100% to be there in your at the same time. If some facilities are required, you can propose it to the funding agencies as well. At the same time, when you have a proposal, what is the actual expected results you feel and how you argue in that particular proposal is also one of the very, very important thing. And if you do have any alternate approaches, if this particular procedure did not work, what is your next approach? That also you should have. And what is the benefit of it? This is also very, very much important. Benefit of that particular research proposal, because please remember funding agencies, whether it is an industry, whether it is a government funding agencies, money is money. When they are giving money, they expect you to give it back in some or the other way. Very, very important. If you tell saying that if you tell saying that my requirement is 10 lakhs, and definitely if they give a 10 lakhs, what is the benefit of that particular proposal? You just think if you are a particular owner of a company, 10 lakh rupees you are giving to somebody, what do you expect from them? Same thing in the funding also. Expectation, and please remember, when government funding agencies comes, it is taxpayers' money, always the public. So your research to be focused towards the public benefit. So in a research proposal in a nutshell, what are you should have a clear objectives, and there should be something worth in doing it. And methods, it is already I told, we should check it whether the methods are feasible or not. You should have a preliminary idea, understanding, and there is nothing wrong. The time when you have a procedure, your complete research proposal make on this procedure, you can drop an email to that particular researcher who has already done the research, the corresponding author, and discuss about that particular procedure too. So how you make that particular research synthetic or whatever may be the research successful, what are the loops present in it, and discuss with them. It is always welcome, and you will have a collaborator. And now you see that internet world, which will help you in the easiest way. Maybe before 15 years, it will be very difficult to, you have to go there, search, hard copy. Now sit it in front of Google Uncle, you ask, all things will tell Google Uncle. Now, can you develop a research proposal? So you have to sort out the ideas. So you just have your own ideas. What are the ideas which will help me to fetch that particular research idea or research funding? Is my research idea worth? Please don't put a question mark in that first itself. Because some people will tell no, they will come up with an idea. Can I do like this? Maybe some colleagues will tell, hey, no, 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 it may not be successful. Then you have to ask, if you are not much interested, can you tell why it is not, why it cannot be successful? Then you can argue with them saying that these are the reasons why I am expecting that this will be successful. There should be a good argument in broader sense. And when you discuss, when you tell about the research questions, is it an open-end question? It's very, very important. Is it appropriate in scope? Because I told if there is an anti-cancer research, it should be something related to anti-cancer cause. It can be anything related to anti-cancer if it is an anti-cancer. So focus on that particular topic, what is being called. That is very, very important. First, gently, what if that particular title is given, understand that particular call, what is being called by the funding agency, and whatever you have ideas, you put it forward, make it, and then you create a research proposal. You can discuss with your colleagues, seniors, or maybe neighboring scientists, whichever you feel, which you can share it. Don't think saying that they will be taking your IP. But only one thing, you have to be very careful in discussing with them your ideas. Does it suggest factors that it has been mentioned in the research? It is very, very important. What are the factors? If I tell saying that, no, I want to put a methyl group in this particular portion in this benzene ring, so I should have, what are the reasons that I expected this particular methyl group in this particular portion that needs to be justified. Now, the next thing, is it relevant to my audience? That means, is it relevant to that particular funding agency? Does it help me to fetch that particular fund? These are the things which you should ask before starting. Is answering the question manageable? And can I found whether related documents or statistical analysis to prove that particular data? Overall, whatever it is, but it should be interesting to me. First, you should be interested in. If you are not interested, then definitely it will, you cannot create a good work. Because what happens sometimes when principal tell you have to submit, we have to submit 3 research proposals. So okay, sir told no, okay, we will write some 2, 3 things, whatever you want and push it through. Sir, I have submitted. No, that is not the actual thing. It should be interest from your mind, which will help you to push it forward. That is very, very, very important. If you just push it for work for principal, you will not grow in terms of research. Don't work for principal. You work for yourself, thinking, taking help from principal. Definitely, you will be succeeding in getting it. Then, the characteristics of an open-ended question. When you have an open-ended question, generally requires yes or no. Whether does, I was telling an example, substitution of methyl group. Does it increases the activity? Decreases the activity? It should not be like that. It should be more than that. How much it increases the activity? Does this modification, what is the affinity towards the binding? So it can be asked several things which can be added up. Because if I make slightly towards one side, what happens? The other side will be difficult to balance. So it requires a complete balance between when you write it. So that means what I want to say is, don't stop thinking saying that it should be yes or no. It should require more explanation. Why? If I do this, what will happen? You can add a lot of inputs. It's the same thing for Sutix or Cognizy or whatever it is. But only one thing, justification. Okay, now developing a topic, already I told some points which is over there. The another one thing, whatever you have to write is that particular topic, whatever I am writing, is that be able to complete within that 3 years? or 2 years or 2.5 years or 1 year, whatever it is being called for. Because I can have a lot of objectives in my mind, and when I try to push it through everything in that particular research proposal, what happens? It will create. I see any person who see that he will understand saying that okay, it cannot be completed within 3 years, and they may reject it. So always have that particular thinking also in your mind. And another one thing, the financial. Already I told that one. So it is always advisable to have some publication as a backup when you have putting that in the research proposal. You just think when you are giving 1 lakh rupees to any person, when you think you are the owner of a car, and if you want to give it to a driver, always you will check do he has some experience on. Please don't think why this person is comparing with the driver. I'm just thinking that's it. Now, if any funding agencies is giving you 10 lakhs or whatever may be the amount, definitely they expect you to this particular person is having some research experience or not. So for that reason only they ask you to have a publications, and publication in reputed journal will help you to fetch that particular research grant in easiest way. Because you know very well, the time whenever you have impact factor, you'll be putting the impact factor in your in your resume. When you put your impact factor, definitely they will understand which journals, whichever is coming, chemistry, or because what happens, it may go to any people's when it goes for evaluation. So they will understand the journal name by seeing. Definitely they will understand good research you have done already. About the ethical issues and the risk assessment, because sometimes what happens, you may not have a facility completely to carry out a research work for synthetic one. So always thinking that it may be difficult to carry out certain type of synthetic procedures. Now if I write it saying I can do like this, so it will be difficult, because when I have to do a synthetic part, it will take around 1 year or 2 years in that. If I do not have that particular facility, so 2 years I have to do it in outside lab, which may not be feasible. So that particular thinking also should be included when you write a research proposal, when you think on writing a research proposal. And when you make a research plan, show the originality in your writing and plan ahead. Because generally the research funding agencies will give you some 2 months time, but still you will have a good plan on this particular area. Definitely will help. Every day, one particular publication, if you read, or minimum B2, 2 publications, if you calculate, definitely you can have a good idea. When you, my suggestion is always see from good impact factor journals, because good impact factor journals, maybe people should think in a different way, business, that things and all, but there will be publication by great scientists, which they will give it with the advanced level of inputs, which will create you to get more motivated too. So always think on that too. Do you think logically? Very important when you plan for research. And are you up to date in the area? Very important, because you should know what is the thing happening. And generally, what happen when you go for a agency, you the research proposal what you present, people will expect say that what are the contents, whatever you put there, does that matches with newer ideas, whatever it is there or not. If there is extremely new, it is good, but you have to give some evidence proof, no, this particular thing will be successful. These are the reasons that I am telling that this particular research will be successful. Justification is one of the very important thing. And analytical skills. Okay, so I'm a chemistry person. I should not always think saying that no, I am the only principal investigator. I do not want anybody to be there. So you can have one more. No, I have pharmacology. I do not have idea on it. Okay, let me take a pharmacology colleague to join as a co-investigator, because it will add up to your value. Because I'm not skilled in pharmacology, but my research proposal is about pharmacological work. So in that case, I need one pharmacological work. Now, when I do that research proposal, I found some analytical work is also more. So in that case, so I expect definitely an analytical co-investigator. If it is there, it is better. Not by namesake saying that, hey, you are writing a research proposal. Also, so that I can tell I have submitted 3 research proposals. It should be like a mutual discussion should happen. What is my research idea? What are the things I expect from you as a principal investigator? Do you think about any alternative approaches? Important, because the time when you go for proposal, you will be projecting, no, these are the ideas I have, and definitely they will ask, what is your another? This is not helping. What you will do? Are you saying sorry? So you should have some other data. So I will try like this method, and I will try this method, and I will do. Does my particular research proposal is successful or not? It's always welcome. Mind mapping. This is one of the very mind blowing. I used to do before starting during my start of my research career. So if you think you want to have a research on a particular topic, put questions yourself in different areas and create a map. Okay, there is a relationship between this, another particular. Link everything, because before doing the mind map, you should just go through the research proposal, what is being asked. Definitely there will be a research question. Definitely there will be a research procedure. Definitely there will be what is the outcome expected from the research. So think that and create a particular mind map, link together. Now written here cancer. I've just taken from the Google, right? I have not written anything over there. So its causes, signs and symptoms, prevention, diagnosis, treatment is there. Instead, just what is the outcome I expect? Okay, I was giving an example. If I put a methyl group in a particular position, what will happen? If I put this in this particular position, okay, my binding affinity will get increased or not? So if it has to increase, what condition it is expected to be there binding with the protein? When I tell what happened, people's chemistry, they will understand. Other faculties, they will think what this person is talking, maybe. But still, what happens, it may not be that much relevant to them. So in your research area, you can prepare a mind map altogether, which will help you to connect all your ideas. And if you have a co-investigator in that particular research, you can discuss with them and prepare a good mind map, which will help you to project yourself, all your ideas in one paper or 2 papers or 3 papers or whatever it is. Just small hint, that's it. So when you put a hint, what happens, it will project a plan. You will not miss anywhere here and there. Questions to be asked. Is the actual problem going to work? Why should we? So it is nothing but your problem statement and how you are going to justify that particular problem statement, which is very, very important. And what information is already available for the problem statement. Don't think saying that I am the only person working on this. Definitely there will be somebody worked on that particular topic. Take that, add that, put that in the same mind map. You think, put instead of causes, you put what are the particular fields the people have worked on. Next. So, literature review. Why conduct? What is the achievement of that research? So it is nothing but your formulation of aim and objective. So it can be added directly in the aim and objective areas. It's a hypothesis. How to carry out the research? How to collect data and information? What are its variables? What are its sampling? What are data processing plans? It will be there nothing but the steps is nothing but your research methodology. So you can just put it in this mind map as the steps to be taken. And when you have work, you can, it's like, if you think saying that you want to go from here to Delhi, what are the things you plan? Okay, I expect to have this much money with me, and I expect to go by flight, and I expected this much amount of expenditure for this is the complete thing. Now, if I'm going and attending meeting, this much time to be spent over there, and I need this. So it's a complete procedure. So when you have mind mapping of this, all these things over there, it will be easy for you to move it forward. How it will be more findings. What and how much resources are needed. So it is nothing but your budgets. Who will submit it? Uh, where to submit it? That is also very, very important. Because if I submit to a wrong person, definitely they will not understand. That's why, because you have prepared a good detailed plan. That's what I told. Reading the application of research proposal is in detail is very, very important with all preparation. Does it match? I have a research proposal in my hand. Does it match with that goal? The mainly important thing. Firstly, list of essentials in terms of research. When you write it, it will help you to create your own ideas of sampling science techniques are required that needs to be pushed up through that in the mind mapping sheet itself. So when you put all together, when you develop that particular person, it will help you to make a comprehensive inputs, right? At the same time, this needs to be evaluated too internally. But only one thing, we cannot think why I should give it to them. No. Please, if you think of growth, you should never ever think of that. The time when you think why I should ask to my senior or any well-wisher, really it will be difficult for us to grow, whoever it is. No. Formatting the data. Because what happens some place times New Roman 12, some places this is there. Now what happens, most of the funding agencies, they are just doing it online. So they have restrictions itself with this many number of pages, this many number of words, criteria. Until unless you add up over there, it will not accept it. Formatting is very, very important because sometimes you may have to upload certain data, figures. So you have to be very careful in that. Okay. So the first part is over. Now we'll discuss regarding the how the research proposal will look like, what are the main contents. So I've just taken to the DBT website and what is actually expected and what inputs you have to give over there. These are the main contents. There will be a title, project summary will be there, an introduction, origin of proposal, what is the rationale of this research, hypothesis, what are the key questions, what is the current status, development, the relevant and expected outcomes, and what is the preliminary work done so far. These are some of the data will be there with work plan as well as the budget. So let us discuss one by one. I'm not boring. Title is very one important things. So how to construct the title? Simply when I do, I used to put the title last. Each time when you add up, discuss, or when you yourself think, we will have a lot of inputs in it. So you can have a draft title as the initial stages and the title can be changed before submitting, but ensure that wherever you put the title, it should be the same title, right? Because when funding agencies, when you have a first page, there you have the title, and in some other place, again, you have to put the title. If the title is different, then the people should think saying that you have written two different projects. So that also you have to be very careful in making the title. So always you can think of the title last because titles will always generally come from the keywords, whatever you are written from the total project. And always make the title questions. What about the research? So I was just telling about the keywords. So you know very well, right? What are the main important terms which is used in the research? Use that particular keywords and create a title. So don't put a long titles. Now, what happens when you start your research? It will be very difficult to understand how my title should be. So generally, we will put it in Google, type that best title for research. You will get it. It is not necessary that I have to tell you. You just put it in Google. You will get that best different and some tips. What you can do? You can just go through some good publications on the area whatever you have worked on. Just read only the titles, around 20-30 titles. You read it, write it, okay, and just read the keywords whatever they have written. This is what I used to follow. I'm just sharing it. Just see the keywords, what they have done. Just see, check the procedures whatever they have done, because what happens when in chemistry, again I'm giving for example chemistry, design will be there. So how I am going to design that particular molecule? When I tell design terminology, I do expect a procedure of designing in the procedural part. If the procedure does not have any design, then whatever I do, the title is not correlating with this. So in that case, it will create a little complex in terms of understanding it. Because you will think saying that, sir, I expected to do that, but design is there. People should generally write, no design, no, I will perform docking. Okay, how you want to perform docking or whatever maybe, because docking is a stylish term, right? That's what I used to tell my students. So, but how you used to, it is design, how you are going to design? What are the criteria you have taken for the design? Particular part, whatever it is being asked. So that when you add the design particular, so that particular keyword should relate to the particular procedures, whatever you have asked, whatever the working title is. It is one of the very important thing when you perform, when you write a research proposal. Because and one thing remember, whenever whoever sees that, the first one they see is the title. Someone sees the title. So it is necessary that see the title. So if you feel that no sir, I don't know much how to prepare the title, see the titles, just understand, just prepare it, prepare a keywords, check the procedure, does it related to it, then you know very well how to make it up. And don't think saying that no, you have to prepare a more attractive research title. The procedures and does not match, gone. Always keep it short. Same thing. Now the next one, project summary. This also generally people used to prefer writing last, because depend upon the researcher's discussion, your whole the ideology of writing may change here and there. So in that case, we will always prefer project summary to be written last, but it is not a must. You can write it anywhere here and there, but only one thing is it should be, it should just project whatever the important things to that particular evaluator, whoever it is. Because this is the one first thing the reviewer will read. It's like, no, we will tell to our students always when you write the first question, write neatly, because that is the first question the teacher will see that, and definitely always write the question which you know very well. We will tell to them, right? So when you have a title, the first title, then the summary is the one people used to see what that particular proposal is of. So concentrate on that particular proposals also. Sorry, summary also. Another one important thing is that remember when you take about the funding agencies. So already I told it's taxpayers' money. So definitely, if they are calling for a particular topic, there should be some reason behind it. Again, it's in public. So do a preliminary research on that particular thing. Like people will tell, okay, you are doing a research. Maybe a cancer, it is a boom in the research. So in that case, when you take about cancer, how many people are affected with cancer? What is the status in India? What is the, maybe you can make it region wise, you can make it maybe in terms of the drug, how many you take, what are the side effects of the drug, whatever the ideas is coming in terms of statistical terms also can be given as a broader input in that terms. Aim and objectives. Aim always the goal of the study. And objectives, maybe I hope you now you have heard of this Bloom's taxonomy terms. I really don't know when our accreditation process started. At that time only I know who is that person or Bloom. The taxonomy terms, truly speaking. Before that, I really don't know. But still, I have done a research. Then only I understand saying that, okay, these are the measurable terms. It is actually true. So always think that particular Bloom's taxonomical terms and use some measurable objectives, because there are certain terms which you cannot measure it. And always the measurable will be in terms of the procedures, whatever you go for. And use that particular measurable objectives with the hypothesis being tested. That will be a good objective which you are creating. And the next is the introduction part. So provide a necessary background of the research. Always select topic which you are more interested in and apply to that funding agency. It will be very, very good. Why it is? Because my particular topic, I am not interested in cancer. If I try to write a research proposal also, it may be, I'm not saying that it may not be successful. It may be successful, but only one thing is you select whichever area you want and try involve yourself more. Like for example, this person, wow, he is doing good research on this particular area of this particular topic. He is so strong. Maybe if you see some scientists over there, whoever you know, they are known for that particular topic only. Why? The time when you build your reputation on this in terms of publications or in terms of research, whatever you input, it will really help you to maybe the time when you start writing this 2-3 years of your projects, you will be having ideas and a lot of inputs, and you will be known for that. Oh, this person is doing for that, and it is very, very important. And being a pharmacy professional, really I'm telling, we have studied chemistry, we have studied cognition, we have studied pharmacology. It is all interdisciplinary. So it is very easy. We can interconnect. In our B.Pharm we would have studied it. Pharmacy B.Pharm we would have studied all the subjects only. But only one thing, we will not brush up in M.Pharm because it is only department oriented. And when coming again teaching, again subject oriented, not even department, because we'll have only one subject and that subject we are good at. Good. I'm not telling it is wrong, but at the same time, you should just brush up that particular ideas and try to interpret on that. And secondly, we have to provide a historical backdrop. It is very, very important. What is the the development of that particular stages. Thirdly, the research question, already I told, that can be added up here. If the particular some funding agencies will ask what is research question, have any, if not have research questions, we can put it over there. Okay, or else maybe sometimes you will have think, how I can frame a research question. It's very easy. When you see that particular any publication, mainly international publication, like European Journal of Medicinal Chemistry or Journal of Medicinal Chemistry. See, again, I am giving an example of chemistry. So in the last part of the introduction part, you can see the research question and the approach. Last part of the introduction, before materials and methods, or the last part of the introduction. It is a secret. It is a secret how they are going to approach that particular thing. If you read again 10 or 20 articles only from good reputed journals, you will get an idea. It is not the thing saying that I do not have idea. Your idea will be there, but only one thing is, again, when you expect money, I do expect that how you are justifying the research idea. The next one, both national and international publication research review status. So it is always to start from the previous research, how that particular idea was generated and what is the research problem, how you understand the research problem. Don't simply write with the only the latest thing, because there will be something behind it, behind that particular author to work on. When you go through that, you definitely get some more ideas in that particular research problem statement. So it is always advisable to go beyond certain here and see that particular research also, research ideas also. Another very important, very important thing. Just think you are writing a, you are reviewing it, and you are as a teacher you are reviewing it, and I am writing a research proposal. I am writing a research proposal on cancer. You think pyrimidine. Being you as a researcher, you are also writing, doing as a pyrimidine derivative, and you are evaluating my research proposal. You think if I didn't give your name over there in the research credits, whatever it is asked over here, I have not given your inputs in this, what you will think? When your title came pyrimidine derivatives, you'll be so happy. Wow, I am working on the same pyrimidine derivatives, and somebody I got a research proposal on the pyrimidine derivatives. Okay, let me see in that research proposal, does the author has quoted my work or not. So always what I suggest is you should just collect the comprehensive research area. So it also matters a lot. And think, if you have written it over there, then really, if I have written it over there, then definitely you'll be feeling more happy, right? So it is also one of the important things. So always convincing the reader, it is playing a crucial role. So always adapt that particular research inputs over from nationally and internationally. The next thing is ability to integrate and synthesize the existing literature and identify the limitations. Because what happened, each author will tell about one particular part. Maybe he would not have think on. You add up there in that end of the literature, discuss the limitation. That's what I have given. You discuss the limitations of it. And patents. People mostly they will skip up the patents. Because patents, that is the one which people should search. Maybe in some research agencies they may ask what are the patents reference they have asked. Some they will not ask, but still it is a literature. So you can patents, and you can see, maybe if you see some recent patents into it, and if you find some lacuna in it, and if you work on, really, why not? You can just patent that work, and if you patent the work, really, if the industry require, the industry will approach you to tell, saying that I want to take the patent. So it will be good for the institution and good for the funding agency which has provided. It's good for everyone. So always think of patentability, because that will help you to push it much more further to higher level. Because when the industry come and tell us, saying that, wow, this patent, I really, he will be flying. Dream, then definitely one day it will be successful. And the relevance and the expected outcome of the proposed study. So here you have to, what is the importance, hypothesis, and the research question that mainly needs to stressed on this particular part. See, why I told mind map is for this. When you put everything in one particular place, it will be easy for you to understand and then extrapolate that particular ideas. Now, the next very important part, the preliminary work done so far. People will tell, no, sir, I am a fresh researcher, I am a lecturer, PhD, so I have not done any preliminary research. No, it is not. You would have done in your master's. Extrapolate that particular work. You would have done some project in your so using that, you extrapolate. So it is, I cannot tell saying that it is not the preliminary work done for that. A publication for that. So you can tell, I have already done a preliminary work. This is the publication, that is a proof for it. Now what happens? It will convince the funding agency, whoever it is there, okay, this particular person is having the preliminary work done and it is published in some publication, and definitely they will think of, okay, why not? Why they will not think of giving fund? Because they have kept fund only to help for the mankind, for the particular research to grow up. At the same time, they are solve solutions for their particular problems. But only one thing: get a good problem and work it for that particular problem. Another one thing, sometimes what happens, we will be thinking, saying that no, this particular concept, what I thought is right. Always it is advisable just introspect certain times, because sometimes it will happen to us. No, it will come. So you will try to think all the procedures, but still that needs to be worked out. The next part is the methods. Very important part. So I was telling about the objectives. So each objective should be linked with certain methodology to be linked and towards the statistical analysis. Analytical method. That's what I was telling. Analysis is very important. And another one thing is, the time when you put ourselves, we may not have much studied on statistical part in our B form or it is in M form. Maybe one subject we have. Now, if you see everything analysis in terms of statistics, there is a lot of gap between a person who is the subject, having subject knowledge, he could not able to convince with the statistician, which its requirement is different. So learn about the analytics part also, which will help you to get that particular methodology and get it validated very soon, or you can push it to higher limits. Thing is, when you do a statistical analysis, always think the sampling size. That is very important. That are you using any tools? Whatever is the list, you have to be very clear in writing the procedure. And the next is the ethical part of it. If you have any ethical requirements, that needs to be sorted out over them. You should sometimes some fund ask, can you tell what are the ethical clearance from that particular ethical committee? It will be asked, so it's a must that it needs to be done. The next is the budget. So generally, if you see the budget, there will be direct cost, indirect cost will be there. So which will cover personal, recurring, non-recurring expenditure, and budget indirect cost of traveling expense also. Like for example, you are going and attending a conference, so it will be taken from the funding agency made in India. In India only, the funding for the travel will be within India, not from international. There are separate funding agencies which you can apply for funding, international funding too. Now, the next is budget justification, and next is budget summary. Very crucial part. You see the direct cost, so mainly the HR, because as per the government funding agencies, they used to be one exclusive research person, that particular research purpose, as a JRF or a research associate or attender or something. So it is a very necessary to add up that particular part. So each one funding agencies, the amount requirement, that also see you can refer the particular website. And when you see about the recurring expenditures, there will be consumables. Recurring is, it will happen regularly, right? Consumables, chemicals, diagnostic, photocopy, postage charges, that also can be taken. And when you tell about the non-recurring, definitely can be procured through that particular research proposal. Then travel expenses also can be covered, and there will be some indirect costs that also will be covered in this. Then budget justification, very important, because generally what happens, it will go into by two times. One, it will be by the subject expert, they will be just going through, then they will give a suggestion regarding the budget, then again it will be verified maybe by some experts related to 2-3 people, definitely they will be referring those. So when you give the justification, it is necessary to explain the reason why you want a JRF, why you want this particular instrument. So generally what happens when I have all the facilities, if I want this particular instrument to be there in my lab, it will help me to do remaining part of the procedure. Definitely they will ask what is the time utilization for that particular instrument. So which can be written in the justification. So when you do a particular research about that particular funding agency, when you do in the initial stages, is always see that what are the things they have already sanctioned, project titles, and if you have an opportunity, you can talk to that particular principal investigator and you can get some ideas from them. It will be always good to you if you are a fresher, and if you have already experienced, really good, well and good, and you can share the ideas. Another one important thing, definitely in the funding guide, they will be asking any other related information. Generally, people will write nil. In the initial stages of my career, I used to write nil because I don't know what to write. Already writing the budget itself, budget as well as the whole proposal itself, it will take a lot of time. If I add any other relevant information, what is there already? Please remember, this is the one which you can highlight more. Whatever the trainings you got, whatever the research I have attended, got training in this particular area, which will help me to put it over there, add up in this, any other relation information. So this is some of the, I just Googled it up. I got one evaluation of research proposal. Some questionnaires, right? So before submitting to the research proposal, you can just share it with your friends whom you feel that they will be giving correct review on that research proposal, and they have to give the mark it, saying that what is the choice of the problem you have selected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You give it mark 5 as a significant and 1 as no insignificant. Clarity of the problem. And the whoever is evaluating, right? They should be so critical. If they are so critical, see, please remember, friendship is difference. There is a lot of difference, right? So if I want to be more friend with him, oh, he is coming and asking, oh, everything you have good, yeah, everything 5, 5, 5, 5, they will be so happy. Please remember that. He may be a good friend, but he is not a critical reviewer. That's what I just want. He should tell me, can you do this? Why can't you do this? Can you address this one? Because what happens, if you give that, because you have an opportunity to learn, you're sharing to your friend, it's only because you expect something. Can you find some lacuna in this particular proposal, and you are trying to get something from him. So if they are giving 5, 5, 5, just think. If they are telling you, no, 1, do this, that this will help you, always accept it. Writing again, it is up to you, because I cannot justify it. Taking a positive or negative thing, it's all you, up to you. But when you give it, he is giving 1, why he is giving 1? Okay, tomorrow when you give, I will also give 1. No, that thinking should not. It's your critical thinking, right? It is very, very important. It's your view, that particular person's view. It is respected. So these are the few questions. What is writing style and your supporting style, how it will be. When you put the questions over there, then definitely you will get it. Now, the next part is the characteristics of the successful grant. The successful grant is a combination of excellent research proposal and with the funding tool. It should start properly and it should finish properly. Only one thing, as I told already, self-motivation. The time when it is self-motivated, you will get a grant. Only another one thing, when you write first time, it will get rejected. If you get first time itself, is so good. If it is rejected, don't worry. Write it, you will succeed. It is not necessary that the first idea, and another one thing, first time when you give an idea, they rejected. No, it is a great idea. Good, no problem. Keep the idea in your mind and think where you can apply it in much more extent. Don't stop doing it. Definitely there will be one or the funding agencies will understand, okay, this is the requirement. When it completely matches with the requirement, you will get that particular funds. And when you get that funds, really you will be an eligible PI, principal investigator, right? Also you will be PI, but only one thing, when you have a funding agency, it will be a different way. So these are some of the funding agencies, most from the health domain. And don't think saying that only these are the funding agencies. You put it in Google funding agencies, you will get lots of things. Right? I also took that from Google. Now, since Google is there, you just put it, you will get a lot of funding agencies. And this is only national what I have put. You can take from a lot of international funding agencies. They will do it in crores of fund. And you think if you get one from an international funding agency, really the reputation will be higher. So for that, it is you should just have a good network. So publish papers, good papers, have a network with good scientists. Create a small team in terms of research. Okay, we will have. I will be doing this particular part of the work. I expect you to do this particular part of it. 2-3 people's interdisciplinary research where government is supporting a lot for interdisciplinary research. For sure, definitely. I hope everybody can achieve it. You think if your institutions have 10 crore projects, really it will be happiest thing to. And if you see the next part, if you see this particular web link, what I was mentioned, NCBS, always they will mention the 3 months, what is the project deadlines. You just think if before 1 month, if they tell, it will be difficult for us to write because we will have academic work too. I still believe that administrative works also will be there. So how I can do that? The time when you see this, they will give almost 90 days, which is the end proposal call. Everything will be given over there. I generally used to follow this. On that basis, I can prepare. Okay, before 90 days, okay, this is the call going to end. So I can prepare myself too. Okay, rules to become a principal investigator. Have a lot of ideas. Share ideas, publish papers, develop skills. Very important. If you think saying that this particular skill is required, develop it. Because it is not necessary that everybody should have the skill all the time. So FDP will definitely help you into it and focus on it and bounce back from failures. Okay, this is very important. No, I applied 10 this thing, but I didn't get any funds, so I stopped doing it. No, don't stop trying. Try. You will succeed. And my wishes to all the faculties, principals. Hope everybody will get the funds soon. And for that, you have to apply it. Right? Thank you.
What are the private agencies which support funding?
Ma'am, see, private funding agencies a lot because it all depends upon the proposal what you prepare. Because what happens, government funding agencies, they will have a separate concept. On that basis they will do it. So private agencies, what they used to do, if they have a problems, they will put over there. If not, there will not be a regular call like funding agencies. Generally government, what happens, there will be a particular interval like SCRB, there will be continuous calls every 1 year or 6 months, there will be calls. Private funding agencies, what happens, they will, if they have a problem, then they will call for it. I cannot specifically tell this is the funding agencies. If you Google up, you can get everything. At the same time, if you approach industries also, they also used to do it because industries also have a lot of problems. We cannot tell says that industries do not have problems. Only one thing, we expect that industry should come forward and industry expects that we should come forward. So that is the only thing.
One more question. What is the procedure to get collaboration with other institutes or companies for effective research?
See, again, it is your research area and research idea. I cannot specifically tell. I was just telling, right? You just think I'm good in synthetic. So in that case, okay, that particular company pharmacological work is done. So there is a possibility that this particular scientist is interested in collaborating with me. So you can have a collaboration. Please remember, it is understanding in the mindset of two peoples and then writing it. It is not by the force of higher authorities. generally what happens by force of higher authorities, it will happen, and the proposal itself, it may not be in a good form. So if it has to happen, the mindset, acceptance in the mindset, and moving it forward. But if what my personal experience is, industries, they will not tell no, joining hands for approaching the funding agencies or government funding agencies. Uh, but it's all depend upon, because when I approach an industry, they expect on the first day, if I tell saying that, okay sir, I'm interested to write a research proposal, can you please, that is my first talk. I cannot expect saying that, okay, as we will have an agreement to sign it forward. So instead of going with that, first you discuss with them, then have a relationship, you invite them to your institute, have a talk, show the facilities, discuss with them. Then as a next stage, sir, we are interested in having a collaborative work with you. Can you be in your part of your research group, or helping us, guiding us? Next, you take the help in terms of, can we have a joint proposal in from your industry together? So, but again, industries, yes, there are some industries they will tell no, but because if your mindset is acceptable with that particular industry, definitely you can move it forward with that.
One more question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
If a person does not have any publication in index journals, so can they apply for the project?
Don't stop. If you have an opportunity, you apply. Because what happened, you see, if you have communicator also, there is nothing wrong in writing saying that communicator. See, I was telling, it is a mindset. If you decide to apply, apply, right? You should not stop. But only one thing, put your full effort. The time when you apply it, you understand saying that, okay, I should have a publication. Okay, you put your goal within next 6 months, I should publish my this particular work, whatever it is done. So which will help you to pass it in the next time.
Sir, last question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any models of research proposals from any websites?
It is there. You have to put that Google. You have to ask the Google uncle will tell, because I just found DBT also it is there, DST also it is there. Same model is there. Is there? Yes.
Uh, we are very much enlightened by your valuable speech, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Uh, I think
Thank you so much.
yes, sir, many researchers are there. They want to go for funding. This session, they will help
No.
them. It will help them.
Yeah,
Thank
now because now it's a part of teaching learning process also, right? So it is necessary, and I wish all the best. So I hope maybe in the next 1 year, every faculty should have one funding with them. Really, it will be a great success for the institute. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, Tandra sir.
sir. Okay, sir. With this, we'll
Okay.
be ending only this topic, but we'll be continuing with the vote of thanks.
Okay,
We,
ma'am.
we
Thank
are
you.
very much thankful for the guest speakers, Dr. B.G.Nagavi sir, Dr. Ramanamurthy sir, Dr. Ramesh Jagadishan sir, Dr. sir, and Dr. Gil sir for their valuable insights at various levels, like head of train, like the need of training the faculty, suggestions on thesis and research writing, knowledge of innovations in pharma sector, and to adopt problem-based learning in institutions and skill development. We are enlightened by your valuable speeches and delighted by your patience answering, sir. And I request our beloved principal, Dr. M.D. sir, to give a vote of thanks to the participants. Over to you, sir.
An ignited mind is the most powerful weapon on the earth, above the earth, under the earth, and this is got through education. A very good morning and good afternoon to everyone present in this platform. The lecture which was given by the academician and industrialist was an interesting and inspiring. Words are not sufficient to thank, particularly the principal, professors, associate professors, lecturers for spending their valuable time for the beneficial. The interaction with the faculty by means of quality question and answering was really outstanding. I would thank my sincere thanks to all the resource persons, particularly for the past 5 days FDP program. Dr. B.G.Nagavi sir, K.V.Ramana sir, Dr. Ramesh Jagadishan, and S. T.Ram, and last but not least, Dr. GILES. For being a resource person for the 5 days, it will be really helpful for all the young faculty members to get the knowledge. For being a resource person, Dr. GILES has exposed excellent topic on the proposal writing. This is the most important nowadays for the young faculty members. I am privileged to render my words of thanks during the pinnacle of success of FDP on skill development in pharmacy education, research and practice. I am certainly proud and pleased to have a pleasant taste of extending word of thanks to all the participants who made the event successful. It's my great honor and pleasure to thank our special guest on the inaugural function of FDP, Dr. K.V.Ramana sir, President, IPA. It was inspiring and helpful to all the people, and not only the people for the profession also. The design of the FDP would not have transformed into a marvel without the hard work and commitment of IQAC coordinators, Dr. Vijayalakshmi, and all members. All members of the organizing team, Dr. Ramachandran, Dr. V.D. Sundar, John Prabhakaran. So without them, we cannot finish this event. And this is the, we are taken from the Google form. There are 1,233 response from the India, and the maximum number you can see the assistant professor. That's around 55% of the people are attended. And even the professors, you can see the 15.3%. It's a good thing to see all the people on this platform. And thank you once again for giving support to our GIET School of Pharmacy and in association with IPA Rajahmundry. Thank you very much. Have a good day.